Alright, so in today's video, what I am going to do is I'm going to walk you through Ericsson's 2023 Graduate Trainee Programme. I'm going to talk about the eligibility requirements, the recruitment processes, and how to pass the interview as well. I'm going to go into details about just things you need to know that would increase your chances of being shortlisted for Ericsson's 2023 Graduate Trainee Programme. Hello everyone and welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am Rida Olabisi. And if you're here for the first time, I would need you to smash that subscribe button, okay? It really helps my channel to grow. So Ericsson is a global IT program and they are currently recruiting for their 2023 Graduate Trainee Programme, right? It is a 12-month long program and it can be converted into a full-time role. The first eligibility requirement is that Ericsson is looking for engineering graduates specifically who have graduated between 2022 and 2023. If you finish say 2021 or 2020, you would not be shortlisted, unfortunately. The second eligibility requirement is that they want people who are finished with a computer science degree or telecommunications, electronics or communications degree or the equivalent. So if you finish with something that is also similar to that, they'll be interested in you. So the third eligibility requirement is that they want people with a maximum of 1 year experience. So they want people with 1 year and below. So if you don't have any experience at all, you can apply, and if you have 8 years experience, you can also apply. The only thing is that once it's more than a year, you're already leaving their target audience, okay? So those are the 3 eligibility requirements that Ericsson wants. So now there are a couple of things that they have also listed as a good to have. So that means that if you are able to demonstrate these things on your CV, it will increase your chances of being shortlisted. So they want people who have great presentation skills, great communication skills, people who can use Microsoft Excel, people who have good problem solving skills, people who have good creative thinking skills, people who have entrepreneurial and good commercial thinking skills, people who have a basic understanding of a programming language, people who can exhibit teamwork and collaboration skills, and a lot of other things like that. So I'm going to drop the link to the website in the comment section so you can take the time to look at all the things that they're looking out for. So just make sure that you're replicating those skills that they've identified on your CV, right? Use those keywords. If they are saying that they want people with teamwork and collaboration skills, make sure you highlight on your CV that you have excellent teamwork and collaboration skills. Explain a time when you've been able to develop that skill. You can say that, oh, you managed a group of say 10 people while you were in school and you were say the class governor. You're able to ensure that there was just look for instances that you can use to replicate those keywords that they've identified as a good to have on your CV. So that will increase your chances of getting shortlisted for their graduate trainee program. Now let's get into the recruitment process. So in total there is about 4 to 5 recruitment processes for Ericsson's graduate trainee program. Now it's important for me to explain that these recruitment processes depend on the role that you're applying to. So let's say for example there are 4 different processes, but let's say the role that you're applying to, you may not necessarily need to do say a case interview, right? Which means you may end up doing 3. So what this will do is that it will just give an idea of the possible recruitment processes that you may encounter and help you prepare for them. But it does not necessarily say that okay, this is exactly what you are going to see, because it differs per the role that you have applied to. So now the first stage is the application. Of course, the link to apply to this particular job opening will be in the comment section. You have to submit an opening online to Ericsson's graduate trainee program, right? And the application is actually pretty straightforward and you'll be required to submit a CV. So just make sure that you've replicated the keywords that they've mentioned on the application on your CV. Now don't just drop them aimlessly. Just make sure that you're communicating how you've been able to develop these transferable skills on your CV. So the second stage after the application is you get shortlisted and you hear from a recruiter at Ericsson. They are going to orientate you about the Ericsson representative that you are going to meet during your interview process. So that is exactly when you know what your interview or your recruitment process will be like. So during that period, then you just make sure you're asking very specific questions and let the recruiter be able to communicate to you. Ask them, oh, after this stage, what is next? After that stage, what is next? Just ask questions so that you can know what the expectations are of you. You can also know how to channel your time and what to exactly prepare for. So the third stage after you've gotten a shortlist call is the interview. Now this interview is usually a virtual interview and you'll be required to do it via Microsoft Teams. Preceding the interview or the day before your interview, make sure that you've installed Microsoft Teams on your laptop. Do not try to use a phone, right? Try to get a laptop for someone if you don't have one. So make sure you've installed Microsoft Teams on your phone. Make sure you dress formally as you would if you're going for a physical interview. Make sure that you have an earpiece so that there is no kind of background noise and different things like that. You can also go online to Google how to have a virtual interview, but those are like the 3 basic things that you need. And your body language, don't sit down and rest behind or something. You're resting, sit down upright and speak very confidently as you would a physical interview. So for this particular interview stage, it will either be by an hiring manager or a senior manager. So now the senior manager will depend on the role or the units that you've applied to, right? So they will bring a senior manager from specific role that you've applied to. So make sure that you've read things that are specific to the unit that you've applied to. If you applied to say finance, for example, make sure you've gone online to kind of read about the duties and responsibilities of someone who is in a finance role in a particular company, an IT company, for example. Just make sure you go on the website, read about their core values, read about what Ericsson has been doing in Nigeria this year, and just make sure you equip yourself with knowledge and information that will help you to hold a conversation, right? So read the core values, very, very important, right? So when they're asking you why you can connect those core values to yourself. You can say that, oh, you've seen that Ericsson has taken tremendous strides in sustainable development in Nigeria, and this deeply resonates with you because you like to this. Just read the values, try and draw a connection to yourself, and talk about a time that you've done something similar to what Ericsson is doing, either in the community. Okay, say right now Ericsson just released their 5G network. Talk about how that makes sense to you, and just those kind of things. Go through their website, comb through it, read as if you are going to write an exam on it, that kind of thing. So it will help you to be able to hold a conversation during your interviews. If you pass this stage, you'll be shortlisted for the next stage, which is the case interview / assessment. Now, this particular stage is not for everybody. It depends on the role that you've applied to. Now, if you pass your interview, you're shortlisted for the final stage, which is the reference / background check. Now, please, if you are one of those people that you tweet things online and you have a very messy digital footprint, basically, just go and clear it. Okay, go and clear it, because it's one of the application processes. They've put it there, which means they would actually do a background check on you, and they will also request for your references. I don't think they will just collect the references and not do anything. They will actually call your references and ask questions about you. So make sure that the references they are dropping, you've informed them beforehand that a company may call them to ask for information about you, right? So that way they know that, okay, they can ask about Rhoda and the person kind of has an idea of what they're going to say about you. If they ask you for like an academic reference, for example, don't go and drop on lecturer when you're in university that you never spoke to, that you don't have a relationship with. Don't do that. Make sure it is someone you know and someone that can speak very boldly and confidently about you in a good way, right? Because these things will impact your application. So the last stage then is the offer. If you pass the background or reference check, you get an offer to join Ericsson's 2023 Graduate Trainee Programme. And just a run through of the application process again. The first thing is that you have to apply it online. The second thing is you get a shortlist call from a recruiter to kind of orientate you about what to expect throughout the recruitment process, and they'll ask you a little bit of questions here and there, so be also prepared to have that conversation. The third thing is the interview, which is either going to be with a senior manager or a hiring manager. The fourth stage is the case interview or assessment. This is not for everybody, it's just for specific roles. The fifth stage is the reference / background check. Then if you pass the fifth stage, you get an offer to join Ericsson, and that's just about it to Ericsson's 2023 Graduate Trainee Programme. So now let's talk about the weekly job highlight section. This is a section where I highlight about 2 to 3 companies that are currently recruiting. The link to apply to every single one of these opportunities will be in the comment section. So now the first company that is recruiting is Carbon Microfinance Bank. Carbon Microfinance Bank is currently recruiting for their Graduate Trainee Programme. The deadline is not specified, but the link to apply will be in the comment section. Alright, so the second company that is recruiting is Amnesty International. They are currently recruiting for their Graduate Internship Programme. Applications are open to the 2nd of October 2023. So you are going to see this video on the 1st of October 2023. So it's going to close the next day. So if you're interested, make sure you go and apply immediately. The third company that is currently recruiting is University of Jos Teaching Hospital. They are currently recruiting for their graduate training program, and applications are open to the 24th of October 2023. If that's something you're interested in, the location is in Plateau State, Jos. Okay, so that has brought us to the end of today's video. Do not forget, if you have any questions that are relevant to the kind of videos that I make on this channel, do not hesitate to drop them in the comment section. I respond to every single one of them as much as I can. And finally, do not forget to smash that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up.